All right, we're going to try and create a law. So if your S-type and your linear type don't work, we can try our own. I'm going to start with wireframe, line, point direction, insert a point. I'm going to do this on the XZ plane. So let's go up to and Y0. X direction. Reverse the direction. Measure item. Select that line. Are you guys able to apply this? Oh God. Why can't I grab line 1? It's going to be 8 inches. Select OK. So my line is 8 inches long. If I were to change if I were to change the line from 8 to 10, this line, well, it's making me update. I got to update this line, and now it's 10 inches long too. What is going on? Both lines are the same length. So if I were to change this back to 8 inches, this line is 8 inches. Okay, that's the beauty of that one. 1 angle equals 1 degree equals 1 inch. So I'm starting at 0, and I need a point here to go 30 inches up. So I'm going to go to wireframe and go to point, and I'm going to use a reference point, and I'm going to pick this end point right here. And I'm going to go 0 in X, 0 in Y, and 30 inches high. That sucker's way up there. Now I'm going to create a line, point direction from that point I just created, which if you look at the tree, it's 30 inches in Z. It's going to go in the direction of X, reverse the direction, and 2 inches is plenty long enough. I'm going to hide my measurements for a moment. And we're going to do a connect curve. So we're going to do a connect curve on one endpoint to the other endpoint. Now, I'm going to show you how I do this without having to create that line. I'm going to select that point, and that point's on that line, that curve, so I'm going to invert it. And then I'm going to zoom out so I can find point 2. Notice I got point 2, and I was having to grab that line to go along that direction, correct? But really, it doesn't have to even be there. I could select this existing line. Oh, you son of a... It popped down to the end. Now, why did it do that? You didn't used to have to do that. I used to be able to just grab this line and it would create an arrow from here in that direction. So I guess I'm going to have to go to line here and pick on this. So it's got line 4 up here and line 1 up here, and I'll select OK. This will not work. I'm going to go View. Take a look at the right side. So how this has been working is you made a curve, right, before the definition curve and the reference curve. And what it does is it makes perpendicular projections from the reference curve to the definition curve. As soon as this definition curve hits the reference curve more than once, it's not going to work. So, for example, if I go wireframe, I don't know anybody that knows the cursor where I can just hit a button and it'll be a full-size cursor, full-length horizontal, full-length vertical. You just don't happen to know that, do you? I'll create an axis on this line. Oh, it doesn't like that line. And I'm going to go perpendicular. Support plane is going to be the XY plane. Oh, no, that's not right. It wants a point in the middle, too. I'm going to have to create some points here. I'm going to do points. And let's do 4 points. I'll just do a line direction. Point number 4. And we're going to go up in the Z direction. And I'll just go 30 inches. See, that projection is fine. It only intersects the definition curve once. Let's try it again. Same direction as this line. And this one's fine too, because it only hits it once. Okay, and that one's fine too, but everything in between is going to wind up hitting this curve multiple times. Agreed? So it won't be able to create an angle law. If I try and do an angle law right now, this will not work. So we'll go to Surface. Oh God, where's the law command?
Transform.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There's your law icon. So I go to law. Which one is my reference? The line or the spline?
The bottom line.
Bottom line is what it's referencing, and it's creating perpendicular directions to define the angle. So I pick this curve. I'll select OK. It creates the law. But if I try and use the law, it's not going to work. So I go over here to Surface. Let's hide the two that are existing so I can create a new one on top of them. So this would be my guide curve. This would be my reference curve. And I'm going to do a law, and I hit advanced, and I pick off the tree. Law cannot be evaluated. Okay? I would like you to make a picture of the law cannot be evaluated and explain to me why it can't be evaluated. All right? Again, the answer is the reference curve defines the angle radius or length of the line by projecting perpendicular lines till it hits the definition curve to define the length at that particular point. So the reason why I've been making you create it the same length is if this line is 8 inches and you create a point 4 inches and you create a line perpendicular to the reference and it hits your definition curve, that should be right in the middle. So if you had a 1/2 inch radius on one end and a 1 inch radius on the other end, halfway through would be a 0.75 radius. And this would hit it right dead center in that middle. Same with if you did a length of 1 inch on one side, a length of 2 inches on the other side. When you project from the middle, it will find the intersection at 1.5 inches and define the length of the line transitioning from a 1 to 2, and it would be 1.5 right in the 50% ratio. Okay, so that law won't work because this crisscrosses on itself. What I can try and do, double click this line. See, it says 8. It won't let me change the number because it's linked to that other line. So if I click on this measurement, where's my erase there? Oh my goodness, why can't I find erase? Oh, right there. Remove the link with measure. So all I do is I contextual menu on it, remove the length, and now it's free. I will change this offset to 50 inches. Now it's more than long enough, and look what it did for my spline. It's a nice smooth transition where none of the lines are going to cross back over itself on the definition curve. Okay? Select OK to that. Why does it look like my surfaces came out of hide? Pull those back into hide. So even on your radius and linear laws that I had you create, the truth of the matter is this line does not have to be the same length as the spline you've been working to. It will just create a scale factor and scale it accordingly. I just figured if you had them the same length, you wouldn't have to figure out the scale factor, what's really happening, okay? If it scales at 1 to 1, it's less headache. All right, so when I go to my law, that law should be adjusted now where I don't have any problems. So I'm going to go back to surface, guide curve, support plane, and I've got that one. And we're going to go law, advanced law, grab my law from the tree, and see I don't get the error message. I'll hit close, and then I pray to see if this works. One thing I don't like about the law is I no longer have my, it doesn't let me choose my other solutions. So now I go preview, and look what it's doing. It's going from 0 and trying to wrap around until it gets to some other angle. So on version 5, 1 inch equals 1 point. Okay? 1 inch equal, sorry. On version 5, 1 degree equals 1 inch. So every inch I go up would represent 1 degree. Now I believe it's metric. Oh God, now what am I going to do? Let's try this. Double click this point. Let's cancel this. Let's double click this point and change the Z to 20 cm. You guys recognize that number? 7, 8, 0.74. You guys ever see that number anywhere? Have you ever noticed every time you create a part? God. Every time you create a sketch of something, and you go to make a pad, there's your default 7874. So 1 millimeter, no. 20 millimeters equals 1 inch. No, 20 centimeters. 20 centimeters equals 1 inch? Or is that 20? I think I'm getting my decimals mixed up. Anyways, that's your metric conversion. So when I got that, that's why it defaulted. And when I typed in 30, oh no, I typed in 20 mm. Oh no, wait, I don't want 20, I want 30 millimeters. 30 centimeters. Select OK. Now let's try and go back to generative shape design. Do a linear sweep on that line in this reference surface. Create a law. Advanced. Pick this law. It doesn't tell me the number, does it? I don't know how to move that over. Wish I could read the numbers. It's not very helpful. Oh, see, it's going from 0 to 300 now. Because I did 30 centimeters. So let's close it and just watch what happens here. Oh man, is this angle stuff a nightmare? Okay, so this one's fine. It's at, oh no, this one needs to be, again, I can't do the next to get it to do the arrow on this side, so it defaults to this way. Okay, and then that point is going, let me double check something on my laws. I want to, I can't really symmetry it. Let's go double click this point here. And I want to reverse that. So I'm going to hit minus 30. If I do mm, that's going to be really small. But maybe that's what it is. So I don't want to go minus 30 though. I want to go minus 150. So let's try minus 150 millimeters. And select OK. It's got that law close. Let me reverse that direction. See which way it's going. Okay, so I did minus 150, I think. Or no, I did 150. And that would, yeah, that's right. It went 90 degrees and then 150 this way. So it is millimeters. Okay. And can I move this point? What point is that? Don't I? Did I not create a point on this end? Oh, no. Maybe I guess I didn't create a point when I did that, did I? Where's point 1? What's in hide? No. Man, I guess I didn't create a point on that. No, I don't. I went off the vector of the line. So I got to create a point. So I'm just going to create that point on the fly. And the origin point is going to be from this point over here. And the Z direction is going to be 180 millimeters for 180 degrees. Oh, it's not. Okay, you don't like it. I get it. All right, so let me just create a point. From this line. From this point. 180 mm for millimeters. Okay. Select OK. Line. Point. X direction. 2 inches will be fine. Select OK. And let's see if I can modify this existing definition curve. Instead of this vector here, we're going to use that point. Come on. And I'm going to change it to this line. Select OK. And you can see it modified that. So if I go to Tools, measure between this line and that plane should say 0 degree angle. Does anybody see an angle showing up? It says angle 0 here, but I don't see it on my screen. Oh, because I put them in hide. I put my measurements in hide, you may recall. Okay, so that's the last one I just did. That's 0 degrees. And then measure between. I'll use that line I created, and I'll pick on this line, and you'll notice that's 30 degrees. All right. So that's how the angle laws are done, using no longer inches. You must use millimeters. Every 1 millimeter equals 1 degree. So if I were to start this from scratch, and turn these back on, go to Wireframe and create a line, insert a point 2 inches in the Y direction along the X, and go 10 inches long. Reverse the direction here. Select OK. Create a plane on the XY. Move this over here. Select OK. Go to Surface, Generating Curve, Supporting Surface. You got to go with the red arrow because that's what it's going to default to. So knowing that, to get to 0, I got to go 180 on this end and minus 150 on the other end to get to 30 degrees. So I could just say OK and create that. To make me feel better, I'm just going to put in 180. So whether you do 180 or negative 180, you're going to get the same results. And then I can create my law. Now, again, the whole time I've been making it make it the same length. You don't have to. I usually just go 50 or 100 inches in length. So I'll create a point on the Z vector. Let's go up 2 inches and 0 in Y. And we'll go a length of 50 inches again in the X direction. Just make it super long. I'm going to create a point. Come on. From the end of this line. So reference point, I'm going to click on that and pick this endpoint. From that, trying to get this endpoint here to be my vertex. I want to create a point. See if I can move this off so I can get to it. I want to reference that point. So I had to key in a number just to get that arrow away from it so I could actually get on that point. And the Z direction would be 180. If you're in Imperial Standards, you got to type in mm to get it to go to metric. Make sure Y and X are set to 0. So 7.0866 inches equals 188 millimeters. And then also another point off of reference point off of this end. And we're going to go 150 mm. Preview that. Select OK. And again, before I used to be able to go to connect curve, select that point and select this line. But it's going down here now. It's so stupid. It should be going to that point. Reverse that direction. Select that point. Select this line. And it's not going to work because it thinks it's all in one line. So I got to go create my lines on this point, this direction. I wouldn't grab the X. I would grab this line right here because I want them to be linked. They're the same. I want to really go, whatever that line is, I don't care if it's along the X or not, I want to go along that line. Same thing over here. Dang it. Yeah, that's fine. Reverse the direction. And then you could do your connect curve. Connect from this point and this line. Reverse that direction. And go to the next point. And this line. The arrow's going the wrong way. You see that? You got to be careful to make sure to reverse that direction. Select OK. Some people make the mistake of joining the line, the curve, and the line. I really don't want to do that. I just want just this curve. So the distance from this line to this point is 180 degrees. The distance from this point to this point is 150 degrees. So I can go to transform and create my law and pick, ask for right here in the pop-up window the reference. The reference is the top, the reference is the line. The definition is the curve. Select OK. With that law created, I should be able to double click this existing surface, which I missed. That's why you gotta zoom up on things so you can see them. Double click this surface and go to law, advanced law, pick my law number 1. I'm going from 180 to 150. Right dead center is 165. Select OK. Preview that. Just has to be difficult, doesn't it? So see, this one's 180 and this one's this way. I don't know why. Sometimes it just does that. So what I do is I go back to the law so I can have a chance to show you to inverse it. Preview that. Okay. You can see that this one's peeling up, I believe. Select OK. Let's check it out. Measure between this line and this plane. Oh, that's 30 degrees on that end. What are we on this end then? And this line, angle 0. Let's go to window. Let me change my view to ISO view. So annoying. Double click the surface. I don't know. It does not seem to like it. I'm at 0 and 30, but I'm at way more. It's like it went, oh, because they got to do a negative number. That's why it didn't like it. I was surprised it didn't do that to me on the other end. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to double click this point and put a negative number here. Double click this point and put a negative number here. So we're on the opposite side. And you see that we're at an angle of 0 still, and I'm at an angle of 30. Well, 150 because it's going from here all the way around to the other end. That's why I like to create my little wireframe line off the end of this line in the direction of the y vector. So I can delete this 150-degree angle out. Zoom up here. And measure between this line and that edge. Oh, I got the wrong one. Measure between the edge of that surface to this line, and we have a 30-degree angle. All right. So angle laws are a little more tricky than your linear and radius laws. The key is to note to yourself 1 millimeter equals 1 degree. And that's going to conclude this second portion of the dimensions or sweep surface linear using an angle law. We did in the previous video the linear and the S-type. This was an example of the advanced law. An advanced linear law would be just a straight line between those 2 points I created. You would have to create those additional lines. All right, that's your example for that one.